message today came to me through the night last night. I'm so happy to share this because a part of it is one of the really wonderful things that I got through Unity's teaching. I recommended a book to you last week or the week before called Keep a True Lent. And he wrote this book, and you could feel the inspiration, the revelation in it. In reading about Lent, I find that it is a term that is derived from the meaning of length, to lengthen, because people observed that the days of spring were visibly longer than the days of the wintertime. And Lent is not in the Bible or teaching of Jesus directly in the Bible. It's a church high ideal, a church way of bringing us back and to disciplining our bodies and minds and cleansing our bodies and minds. It alludes to the 40 days of Jesus as he was in the wilderness where he was tempted, and he prayed and fasted for 40 days. So there's a connection there. He was in preparation for his great ministry that was coming up. Also, you find that in Moses, when he went up to the Mount Sinai, he was in preparation for the law of that time, the Ten Commandments. It's laying a foundation, preparing for the major event, I could say that way. And of course, the major event was what? The resurrection of Jesus. He is risen. He is risen indeed. And that's why I enjoy our stained glass, because it depicts Jesus saying, come, come. This is the way. This is the way to life more fulfilled, more abundant. And it gets away from the sad torture of the cross. The true meaning of Lent, according to the spiritual meaning rather than the literal meaning. And that's what we're about, the spiritual, to know God and learn about God in spirit and in truth. The Bible's not a history book, you know. And so for us, fasting is to take dominion over our thinking, to fast from unworthy thoughts that serve you not at all, and focus on the good and the true. Every time you feel yourself wanting to go back into that old tired memory, hey, grab a hold, take dominion. I'm in charge of my thinking. Fasting means fasting from criticism and condemnation of ourselves and other people, and focusing on loving one another, all alike. We are to fast from false beliefs in sickness and weakness. They have no power. They're not the truth of us. The truth of us is whole, perfect, and complete, just as God created us. So we let go of those false beliefs and turn and focus on the truth of God's presence, omnipresence, always with you. That's who we are, the essence of God. Nothing can change that, no matter what. Nothing can change that. So it's our awareness of it that Jesus is teaching us. And another thing to fast from, of course, there's many, but another one that I've made note of here is to fast from false beliefs in lack and limitation and loss. No, this is an abundant life that we're living. Focus on the truth of God's bountiful goodness, always there, permanent. These evil that you see are not, they're temporary. Divine Spirit is moving us and life and our nation and each one of us to goodness and light and abundance. That's what Lent is all about for us. Renouncing, letting go, fasting from these things that do not serve us, that are not in the teachings of God. Refusing to be in doubt and worry and stress. It's not necessary. It's not necessary because we have that power and that peace of God in us. So that's what we cling to and remind ourselves of. Bring ourselves up out of muck and mire of depression and that sort of thing. No need. Now, in this book, I wanted to show you the book. It's Keep a True Lent. Now, this is the original version. Charles Fillmore just did a marvelous job. This is a great book and means so much to me in my spiritual growth and my journey. And I just recommend it. In this book, he brings out his revelation of the 12 powers of man. So exciting. And he wrote a book called The 12 Powers of Man. And when I say the 12 powers of man, I mean the abilities that we have, the faculties that we have that are inherent. We all have them, all and all alike. We have all of these things. And I'm going to try to do this without looking. The first one, of course, is the faith. Faith, and that's to intuit, to believe. So that would be number one, wouldn't it? That foundation I was talking about. And then strength. And strength is the power to endure, to persist, to persevere, to last. And then the next one is love. So love, oh my. That's Jesus' main message. Love and forgiveness is Jesus' main message. And love is unity and harmony and being able to attract to oneself, the oneness of life. So then the next one would be dominion, as I talked about earlier. That means having dominion in your world, in our inner world and our outer world, taking charge, having power to master and to control. And then judgment, to be able to know and to be wise and to apply what we know. Not just know and don't move your feet, but apply what we know. And so then the next one would be imagination. So that's how we create the lives that we want, by visualizing. You know, we have to believe before we see the manifestation. We have to believe in the unseen. Now, I know that sounds strange, but that's the truth of it. What we see is dead and gone. You know, there's no creation in that. I mean, the creation part is gone. So in order to see our lives as we really want them to be is in the now, in that moment. And it's to conceptualize and to visualize. So it's so powerful. Oh, I'm not looking. And then the next one is understanding. And understanding is to comprehend and to apprehend. Then the next one would be order. Order. So important. We find joy in order. That's to be able to adjust and to sequence our lives and have order in our lives, to balance our lives. It's so important. That's one of the things that we have, and we can call these things forward. We can focus on them. When we want to go into that pity pot, try focusing on these wonderful things that we already possess. So then the next one is will. Will, that means to decide, to lead, to push forward, make the decision to do this thing or be this thing or whatever it might be, to make the decision. After that comes zeal. Now that's a word we don't use very often nowadays, but it's to be passionate and enthusiastic about life and what we're doing and what other people are doing. Mm-hmm. And it's like zeal is to start and to motivate. And then the next one might be elimination. I don't know, but I've seen that TV show of the hoarders, It comes back to haunt you. We have to release, and there's the dominion again. Do I want to keep this kind of thinking? No, I want to release. I want to let go. I want to renounce that for my own good and the good of everyone that I encounter. Just to let go of what no longer serves us in life. Let it go, let it be. And then the final one, of course, is life itself. To enliven, to invigorate, to vitalize. Oh, our men, you're hearing of all this peace and love and beauty and creativity and all these things. But this power, this wonderful power in the creativity, the power in all of these things. With each of these, there's a color that goes with it. Life is red. There's a color and there's a spot in the body that Charles Fillmore feels holds that in us. Like imagination is the forehead between the eyes. And it's a light blue. So that about concludes what I have to say today and the message I wanted to bring. So thank you very much. Thank you.